Welcome to my YouTube channel Rezacat, and today we will see what is the concept of average velocity and instantaneous velocity. Okay, so today we will see what is the concept of average velocity and instantaneous velocity. Okay, so the average velocity, the average velocity, firstly we will see what is the average velocity. So how the average velocity is defined? So average velocity of the particle is defined as the time, the velocity of the particle in a particular time interval. Okay, so it is defined as the velocity of a particle in a particular time interval. Okay, so suppose that the distance traveled by a particle in the time t2 minus t1 or the time delta t is ab. Okay, so this is the AB vector. Okay, so the average velocity will be AB by T2 minus T1. Okay, so it is defined. So how the average velocity is defined? Average velocity is defined by the distance traveled or the displacement of the particle in the time T2 to T1 or the time delta T. And AB is the displacement. Okay, so it is defined as the displacement of the particle in the time of delta t. This is how the average velocity will be defined. Okay, so suppose that this is point A and this is point B, and the particle goes from A to B. Okay, so the displacement will be AB. Okay, so this is the displacement vector. Okay, and the time here is t1, and the when it goes the time was t2, so the time it takes was t2 minus t1, so the average velocity will be t ab by t2 minus t1. So this is how the average velocity will be defined for a particular particle. Okay, and the instantaneous velocity will be nothing else but the velocity at that point. Okay, so the instantaneous velocity will be the velocity at particular point. Okay, so this is how the instantaneous velocity will be defined. So suppose that this is the point A and this is the point B, so the velocity at the point A will be the instantaneous velocity at point A, and VB will be the instantaneous velocity at point B. So V instantaneous at A is VA and V instantaneous at B is VB. So how the instantaneous velocity is defined? Instantaneous velocity is nothing else but the velocity at a particular point. Velocity at particular point is the instantaneous velocity. Okay, so this is how the instantaneous velocity will be defined. Okay, so now let's see what is the concept of the position vector. Okay, so now we will see what is the concept of the position vector. Okay, so how the position vector is defined. Okay, so if we join the origin to the position of the particle by a straight line and put an arrow towards the position of the particle, we get the position vector of the particle. Okay, so suppose that this is the position of the particle. So if we join origin to position, okay, by putting an arrow, we will be getting position vector of particle. Okay, so suppose that this is origin and this is the position of point A. and if we join this by this, and so this OA will be the position vector of this particle A. So what is OA? OA is position vector of particle A. Okay, so if any time the position vector is asked, we will firstly find the origin and the place where the particle is present. We will simply draw one vector from O to A, and that will be the position vector of the particle. OA is the position vector of the particle. Okay, so this is how the position vector is defined for a particular particle. Okay, so suppose that there is an AB vector AB, and how this can be written in terms of the position vectors. Okay, so how can it be written? Okay, so it can be written as AO plus OB. Okay, so these O and O will be cancelled like this, the vector property AO plus OB will become AB. So in terms of this position vector, this is how it can be written, AO plus OB. Okay, or it can also be written as OB or AO. If we write OA, so it will be in minus sign, OB minus OA. Okay, it can also be written like this. Okay, so this is how the concept of the position vector is defined. Okay, this was the concept for the position vector. Okay, thanks.